here with another mini video for you. I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. And we're using this cute image today by Magnolia called Tilda with a big tulip pot. And we're going to be coloring that terracotta pot today. And for our terracotta color combo with Copic, I'm using YR27, YR24, YR21, and YR20 for my highlight. I'm going to use a sandwich of YR27 with E99 with YR27 on top for my greatest shadow. I'm going to be using this book that we talked about last week by Marianne Walker on shadows, and showing that her linear light guide, and again how that works. The area where the linear lines first touch your object will be highlight, and the area where it leaves the object is the area of the greatest shadow. We have highlights, we have shadow, we have midtones, and there's also a cast shadow. And we'll all be talking more about shadows as the weeks go on. Now we're going to begin with our IR20, and with this I'm just going to be identifying and kind of marking out the areas where I want my greatest amount of shadow. The reason I'm using my light tone is because if I make a mistake, I can always go back and fix it. If I start out with my darkest, then I will have difficulty correcting the coloring. Now I'm going to my shadow color, my IR27, and the areas that I have pre-marked, I'm going to just mark right over the top and establish my shadow lines. The areas that are not getting as much light source will be my shadow, and the area like under the rim of the terracotta pot will be my cast shadow. Cast shadow is any area that is being blocked by another object, such as the rim of the terracotta pot. And what I'm doing is I'm just covering over that area really lightly, and then taking my darkest of my midtone, my YR24, and just applying it from where the shadow ends and gently flicking outward. Again, careful not to go too far into my highlight area. In this example, I'm actually using two midtones. My YR24 and 21 are both midtones. And as you know, midtones will usually comprise most of your image. It's an area that doesn't have shadow and isn't the highlight, and that usually will be the bulk of it. I'm doing a flicking motion with this Copic marker, and you just set the nib down and flick outward. You'll notice that it will allow for better blending. As you flick out, the color lightens. Again, I'm trying to make sure I don't cover too much of my highlight. And even though the YR20 is my highlight, I try not to cover it with too much ink, because every time I color over an area, it will darken. So again, very lightly, kind of reserving the highlight for your very last step. Just getting a nice blend on there. Now we're going to go and make a sandwich, going back to my very darkest color, YR27, and just going over and reestablishing the line where I have my shadow and my cast shadow area. And last week I talked about a sandwich that Suzanne Dean teaches, where you can take your darkest shadow, then another area with more gray, which would be like an E99. Further you go up with that first number, that 9, the more gray will be in your ink. And so you put that down, followed by your shadow again, so that your shadow, your YR27, your E99 with your YR27 on top of it. And that will give you an extra dark, intense shadow. You will use that part very sparingly. Less is always more. You'll have more contrast if you use it sparingly and in a few select areas. And then you blend out with your YR24, your 21, and then again blending gently over the top of your highlight, reserving that highlight as much as possible. And one way I do that is by cleaning off the end of my nib frequently when I'm coloring the highlight, because Copic markers have a tendency to pick up color. That's why they blend. But you do not want to pull that darker color into your highlight, so just clean your nib often. Now if we take our little grid here and put it on our colored image, you can see that the area again that first touches the object, the pot, is our highlight. But you see where that line ends the Terra Cotta pot? It's the darkest. The area under the rim, the cast shadow under the rim of the pot, that is dark. The area further back has more gray, so we made that dark. So I think we were pretty consistent with our light source guide, and I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. This is a color combo you can use anytime you would like something that has more of a terracotta look to it. I'm going to give you a little close-up. You can get a better view. I hope you'll try this technique. It's fun. It's a nice color combo. And being spring, we'll have a lot of the flowers growing, and so you'll be probably coloring up a lot of images with flowers and pots. So this will be a great color combo for you to use. I hope you enjoyed it. And this is our finished colored image.